So I want to lay out a test joint on this piece of wood, and using my 3 centimeter spacers, I see I have room for 4 of these in here. So I'm just going to mark where one of those spacers is, and I'll try to center my dovetail on here. So I neglected to take video of the setup of this before I made the first cut, but we take the mark for the first one, and with the jig swivel to the middle, we have to make sure the middle of the dovetail is in the middle between the 2 marks. Now for the next cuts, I need to move it over by subsequent spacing. So what I need to do is I need to move this fence out here so that I have room for spacers. So at least 2 of those, and actually we're going to have to put 3 spacers in. So I need to move that fence by a little bit further out. So now I'm putting in the 3 spacers and the fence tied up against that. And also clamping on the spacers tight just so they won't move. The screwdriver on the back. And we've already made the first cut, so after the first cut, I take out 1 spacer. And now I move the stock against the remaining spacers. And I'm ready to make another cut. So those dovetail pins turn out nice, and I cut my workpiece in half because I'm going to use the other half to make the tails test piece, and I need to now transfer where the actual tails need to go on this workpiece. So now switching to the tails jig. So to set up cutting for the tails, I'm going to set up so I'm cutting this side of the rightmost dovetail and lining that up with the edge of the blade. Now let's put the fence up against the workpiece and clamp that. And we can also lock the stock in place. So now I take my test tail and I put it against this pin, pushing it all the way to the right, so I have a positive stop there just in case there's play. And now I need to line up that line with the table saw, and I need to just bring that over a little bit. And I'm going to use the fine adjustment just so that I have the position locked. So just doing a quick check against my pins. So let's see how that fits into our pins. That's slightly tighter than I'd like it to be, so I'm just going to make a minor adjustment, maybe a 1/10 of a turn on here, just to narrow those pins a tiny little bit. So I'm not 100% confident in what I'm doing, so I've actually made another set of tails on a piece of scrap plywood, so I'm just going to cut these ones with my jig right now to test it. Okay, let's test the fit with this test piece here. Well, close enough. So with the fit of this joint thoroughly verified, I can now go ahead and cut all the tails on here. Well, it's a little bit tighter than I was hoping, but I can still push it together by hand, and it's really locked. Fully closed now. So this was my first test joint with my table saw dovetail jig. I didn't have to use material this thick, I just figured I'd use something thicker just because it's more difficult. And also with a thicker joint, it's a sort of joint that is impossible to do with a router dovetail jig just because you can't get bits that size easily.